What's up, everybody? Welcome to Knowledge and Relationships live streams. I know it's been a minute, but this is your host, M3, and the Sophisticated Jerk.
What's good? Yeah, it's been a minute, man. I had to pull you out for this one, man. You been seeing all the craziness going around?
Yeah, man, it's funny, man. I was watching a video, man, of Micca talking to some like conservative black dude, and he pretty much like aired everything out, you know, and pretty much in his own case kind of held her accountable for being like alleged like side chick.
Yeah, my man. He need to get the Pulitzer Prize, man. I think Mika died, because she worked with him before. She was like, "Oh, my homeboy gonna get me. He gonna throw me some softball questions." My man Orlando came out the woodwork like, "Nah, I ain't letting her slide on this. Mika gonna get this work." So yeah, damn the people, usually they give the Pulitzer Prize to be them dudes that be on the front lines. They be like in Afghanistan, Gaza Strip. Fuck them this year. we got to give it to Orlando. Orlando out here putting the full court press on the fuckery. So yeah, Orlando was like, "Look, I'm gonna get a new tie for this." Orlando's like, "I ain't letting Mika slide on this shit." So yeah, he threw a curveball on that interview. Mika looked at him like, "Orlando, what the fuck you doing?" She was she she had that look at her eye like, "Oh shit, like you supposed to be my homie and stuff." Orlando, what you doing? So yeah, he went in, boy. He gave it accountability because man, he turned it on to the whole situation, and I like how he did it. He was like, "Man, how about your husband?" Because come to find out, she been kind of hiding, dude. And when people want to hide people, it's like, oh, it's for business purposes. I want to see people. I don't want people to see my significant other because I don't want them attacking them and stuff. It's like, man, if you hiding who you with, man, you either embarrassed or you want to create that gray area. You don't want people to know your status because, man, you leaving that door open. So, a lot of like R&B, like females, the industry would tell them like, hey, don't, get a boyfriend or, don't announce your husband because, we don't want to kill your sex appeal. We want to, boost your sales by, dudes thinking that they could fuck you and stuff. Now, this is what they would tell like females in the industry and shit. So that's why I'm saying, that's fucked up that, yeah, I like how he pointed out. He's like, man, you ain't got no picture of your husband on this platform, but you got Anton on this. And my man went in, dog. Yeah, so what's your take? Let me ask you a question, man. So if you see somebody's like a female's IG and she ain't got no like posting of her man, what's the first thing that come to your mind on that?
Well, okay. Well, before I give my opinion, first things first, I gotta give a warm shout out to Mimsy Limbs.
Yeah, how you doing, Mimsy? My bad. I was rambling like I'm a.
I know, you're good, but salutes to you. Thank you for tuning in. No, I'm gonna really think. Think different this person, like, and it's not going to be anything positive. So, like, let's just say hypothetically, if one of my homeboys had a chick right now, and she'll have like her social media, but it's all about her and another dude. Now I get it, right? I understand, like, if there's some chicks that they're not going to show off their man like that. You know what I mean? But a lot of times, those type of chicks, right, are usually trying to protect their man from the girls that might come after him. You know how women be thinking. But in this case, if you don't post like anything about your husband, or let me just flip it real quick. If you're gonna post something of one of your colleagues or your so-called mentor, then you should have that same energy for your husband. You should be posting pictures of him. Like, a lot of people didn't even know that she was married until after the whole shindig that got down with Anton and Corey. And I'm gonna bring that part up because all this is a domino effect, and now it's affecting her because she thought that Anton was gonna give her that come up, but instead it wound up backfiring.
Yeah, no, definitely, man, because like I said, man, I think in her mind, man, people that do stuff like that, they want to pitch it as like, I don't want like no drama to come to who I'm with. But low key, man, I think they either embarrassed or they leaving that door open to like, man, if I network and I get somebody else, I'm going. You know what I'm saying? So they want to, kind of sexualize the whole situation for like entertainment. Because I mean, I'm not saying you got to plaster somebody all on your accounts. And I do understand people don't want their loved ones to be attacked, but still, it's just like, man, you present yourself in a certain manner. Like, you look at my shit, man. You see my wife on there. She ain't on every damn photo, but you know I'm married. I present it like that. Same thing on hers, man. And I just, man, just experience. If you dealing with a female and she really into you, man, you damn near got to tell her like, hey, don't post everything, goddamn it. You got to damn near tell them to take down pictures. So yeah, it was just weird that people would hide a spouse, even if you wasn't gonna put them on your like pages and shit, like to people that even have to guess if you married. Yeah, she was out here hunting. But this whole situation, man, I think Micca kind of fucked it up doing all these interviews. And I think that's why we kind of titled it the way we did. Like, you could tell she's used to controlling a lot of, like, I'll say thirsty ass men. And we got to throw a shot at Anton. He thirsty, man, and that's why he's in these situations. We always talk about it like, man, if you ain't dealing with the female, that whole friendship shit that a lot of guys do and try to take females out, but they try to act like the friend. It just backfires. But I think in this case, I think Micca's like ego. She thinks like she could go out here and like manipulate the masses by, trying to kind of put herself in this like naive state, like she didn't know what was going on. But like some points in this interview, you could see that she kind of like puts her foot in her mouth because she kind of lets that she knew what Anton was kind of about. She said he flirted and stuff, and she was still like aligning with some of the stuff. So, I hate when people try to take the victim stance when, that low key, they kind of push the button. So she knew, like a lot of times I always tell dudes, I'm like, man, females could spot a thirsty guy and they know that they can align with him and, kind of get them resource out of them. Cause a lot of them guys are infatuated by beauty, man. That's what that shit is. We talk about it all the time. So yeah, a lot of guys think they're in control in that dynamic, but nah, no females come in there, they cash out. And then as soon as the heat hits or, there's like bad press, they like, oh, well, I didn't know like what was going on. I was naive to the situation. And then, the guy ends up looking like Diddy and shit. Cause now she talk about NDAs. So yeah, that's why I always tell guys, I'm like, man, if you ain't dealing with him or you got business, keep it business, man. Don't be, mentioning things about females' looks that you have interactions with. Just keep that shit professional. You go to an event, interview, you do that, you bounce, you have your wife in them situations. So yeah, no, definitely Anton misstepped also. So he ain't off the hook. I ain't trying to take up for him because he, like I said, he thirsty, man. And that's what.
Right.
I don't know if these guys don't learn, man. At situation after situation we cover, it's like a guy, man, it's like they lose their bearing, man, when they start seeing some pretty women, man. So that just shows you like how guys just keep pedestalizing looks and jamming themselves up. But the crazy thing with this whole situation, if Micca was smart, all she had to do was just go on her channel and be like, you know what? I thank everybody's feedback for, kind of pointing out some of that stuff. I wasn't paying attention to that. I was just doing business, but I did maneuver wrong and I'm going to maneuver different moving forward. Thank y'all for pointing that stuff out. And left it at that, took some accountability, but instead, like I said, because she's egotistical, she's coming out here trying to like almost like she could control the narrative and it's blowing up in her face. Because like I said, a lot of times when people have that mindset, because she's so used to controlling, like I said, weaker men, she thinks she could do that to everybody. So that's probably why she did these interviews thinking like, oh man, I'm so smart. I could, manipulate the questions, the answers, and everybody would fall in love with me and shit. And it's sad. It's just like, damn, sit your ass down and disappear for a little bit, But I'm telling you, when people have that ego in their head, man, they keep going out there. Cause she did Tasha K. I saw after this guy, Orlando, tore her up. She damn near did the same interview. And it's almost like insanity. Cause it's like, okay, he obliviated you. that would have been the time to disappear at that point. Like, oh fuck, okay, my tactics ain't work. But she jumped on Natasha K. It got even worse. So it just prolonged the whole situation. So that's why I was like, man, it's crazy, man. But it just shows that level of like, she's so used to being in control in these dynamics and shit that I could control the masses, the media at this point.
Man, I guess she really need to check that bag. We go on these type of shows because I'm for sure they're paying her for a time.
I don't even think it's for the check, man, because I did a breakdown on her before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because on Anton's panel, and it was her and Molly. They was talking about like, you know, a man's got to pay 100% of the bills. They were like, we don't do no 50-50 shit. So her husband, you know, based on what she said, he's paying all these bills, and you know, this is kind of the treatment he gets. He gets pushed in the back burner. But it just, like I said, it shows that, you know, she's kind of dictating a lot of stuff. Because I broke it down in the video that I did, and I was like, you know, I already could spot that mindset. So when they was talking about it, I'm like, damn. So now to see it now, like a provider dude that's paying for all that shit, she put him in the ghost territory where she don't even see him. That's crazy because, you know, she was kind of on that TradCon shit where it's like, okay, I'm traditional, you know, this, but, you know, you're hiding your husband. That's crazy. But it just shows like she's chasing that fame to a certain degree. That's like a drug for her where I don't even think it's about the money, man. Because like I said, she got a guy that's paying, you know, 100% of the bills and shit from based off what she said. You know, it's just a fame thing, man. So yeah, I think that's that drug for her where mixed with her like ego that she just can't let this shit go.
Yeah, and then that too, you know, because you have your YouTube channel, you're gonna also look at for whatever opportunities to, you know, just to get your head, like, you know, pretty much like your shine, which you're not really shining at this point. It's just that you're opening yourself up for more criticism. But salutes to Wally and salutes to 100 Watts.
Yeah, shout out to y'all, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man, let's go ahead. We're going to jump into the video.
Let's pull. You go ahead, pull that up. Mm-hmm. But all right, I'm going to start with the intro. The intro was kind of fire, man. So it give a nice little breakdown. And we're going to jump around because I'm going to first jump to the piece where, like, Orlando gets on her. He's like, man, how come you ain't got no pictures of your husband? So that was, like, kind of toward the tail end of that. But I think that sets the tone to, like, what we talking about. That's kind of, like, fucked up.
Yeah.
You've seen the headlines. Entrepreneur and TV personality Anton Daniels is accused of having a side chick. Micca says she's no side chick and is sitting down with me for a one-on-one interview to clear up the rumors.
Here's another very challenging question, but I have to ask you. I just have to ask you. Have you and Anton ever had sex?
Jesus!
Has Anton ever flirted with you?
Flirted with me as a sense of what?
Does Anton have you on an NDA?
He does give out NDAs to a lot of people.
What happened between him and Corey Holcomb? Have you met Anton's wife?
Yes.
Do you think you look better than his wife? Has Anton met your husband?
In person, absolutely not.
Now, I'll be honest, when I saw this picture, I was flabbergasted.
Why?
There's no way my wife would be physically touching, leaning on another man in a way that suggests I'm feeling you, I like you. So which point was this?
This is the second time.
Oh goodness, the second time?
I am a conservative. I am a Trump supporter.
What is it that he's done that I and others have benefited from?
Donald Trump has a track record of actually doing things for the people.
I think that was a colorful response, but you didn't answer my question.
Answer your actual question.
This is my show, not yours. I'm not answering your question.
Oh, okay.
Everybody has a...
So I wanted to play that intro. You saw Orlando wasn't having it. He was like, you ain't controlling shit over here. I ain't thirsty. He's like, motherfucker, I ain't Anton.
I'm like,
you don't run shit over here. He had his like brand new tie on. He done went by Men's Warehouse. He got fly for this shit. He knew he was about to make some circulation, get some views off of this. He's like, oh hell nah. But let me jump to the first part. Because in the first part, man, they just talk about politics. And I kind of like what he was doing. Because they had it was like 19 minutes in and they was talking about politics.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that he did that. Because what he was showing is just like, okay, man, you're not a dumb chick. So you know exactly what you're doing. So he let her break down the politics. And then this is where he jumped into like, all right, we about to pivot to these questions. Cause now she can't be like, oh, I'm naive, I'm dumb. He was like,
I like that because he was basically analyzing her intellect
yeah.
and how she carries the conversation and her articulation on certain like attributes in certain scenarios. I like that.
Yeah, because if you go in certain fields, and not to say like, she's a genius in these fields or anything like that, but typically if people talk about, politics, economics, you're not a dummy to a certain degree. You know how to process some stuff. So you can't, on one side, have some expertise and you present yourself to be like knowledgeable and higher than people. But then, when it comes to simple like dynamics, like I shouldn't be doing this because the perception might look bad. You can't then take the dummy stance on that. So that's why I think he was like trying to showcase her like, oh, okay. So now when I start asking you these tough questions, don't be plucking playing dumb. Cause I just heard you talking about like economics and how you're like a subject matter expert in this shit, but all of a sudden you want to play dumb? Hell nah. So nah, Orlando, that's why I said Pulitzer Prize territory, man. We gotta vote him in. But all right, let me go ahead and play this.
It's ridiculous policies.
All right, so let's get into Anton Daniels. Here's my thinking.
Shout out to him for saying his name wrong. My man said Antoine. He stressed it out and shit. He was like, I'm putting no respect on his name. He did that shit on purpose, didn't he?
Right. Yeah. Hell yeah.
With your vast erudition or knowledge in politics, was that the connection or bond? Because as I understand, he's a conservative and much of his rhetoric, if you will, is political.
Correct.
Is that fair to say?
That's fair.
That is fair. Was that the bond or the connection between you and Anton?
Absolutely. So I was a watcher of Anton's content way before, I actually knew Anton. So that is one of the bases of my connection with Anton, and also the financial conservatism too, because Anton knows a lot about financial decisions.
Okay, and how would you describe your political relationship with him?
Political relationship, what do you mean?
Yeah, so is it...
See, I like the lineup because she's comfortable right now because she's thinking she's controlling the interview. Like I said, that's what egotistical. So he's like throwing some softball ones. Yeah. And then he drops the hammer towards the end. He like, all right. That's when she switched up. You could tell by her stance. She's like, oh shit, Orlando, what you doing, baby? That's when the panic sets in. She's like, Orlando, what the fuck's going on? Like, right. She's like, bell out. But
primarily the relationship or the friendship you have is primarily about politics?
Well, no. Well, the relationship that we have now is primarily business.
Or prior to, when you say now, there's an emphasis that maybe it was different prior to.
No, the only prior to is before I knew him.
Okay.
So before I knew him, of course, I'm a consumer at that point.
Yeah.
So I'm, looking at Anton, like I said, from the conservative politics and the fiscally conservative shows he used to have.
Yeah. And what was it that caught your attention to stay connected to the work that he does?
Before I knew him?
Yep.
Oh,
you said you was a consumer of his work. Yeah.
It would be like the Millionaire Morning Show. That's actually what I did watch. I didn't know Anton's other shows until we started working together.
Sure.
But the Millionaire Morning Show, it has, like I said, it has different components of news, financial information, politics,
sure,
and a little bit of pop culture, which is my lane.
Yeah, and even with that being your lane, how did the lanes collided, if you will? Meaning that at some point, either you reach.
And I think this is the critical piece, man. Even though it's like, I'll say a little boring to the other places in the interview, I like the fact that he was asking her, like, you actually seen him on platforms because, you know, typically people, when they, like I said, they want to play the naive, they're going to be like, oh, I didn't really like notice anything. You know, I just met him and I jumped on the panel. I didn't really see any like the prior stuff. So she kind of self-admitted like, yeah, I was watching his material and, you know, to keep it a buck, Anton, you know, he's pretty vocal on certain things. He'd be like, man, I got a stable of hoes. He'd be flirting with chicks. So when you kind of go in that environment and you said you've been watching, you already admit that you know what the hell is going on. So I like I said, he's pretty clever on how he don't give away his like clues and stuff, but he'd be walking her right into them traps. Cause like I said, if she, you know, was kind of a little smarter, she would have known like, oh, when I didn't really watch that much. You know, I just seen him on different things and I saw he got a big name. I saw some of the money stuff, but she was like, nah, I was a consumer. You know, when you a consumer, man, you watching a lot of that, you know, to that point, because you would have said different terminology, you know?
Yeah, it's just the fact that he kind of got her already relaxed into her feminine, you know, talking about politics, something that she really enjoys talking about. That's what kind of set her up into, you know, being vulnerable with like, oh yeah, you know, like that's how me and Anton connected. Again, like, you know, you're right. She is trying to control her narrative. So what she was trying to paint out was that it was something out of pure intentions, you know, when her and Anton met. And
Yeah, she's trying to use the politics angle, which I think that's a con anyways, because I think a lot of people, man, I think they seen the conservative space just dropping bags on people. So I think that's why a lot of them jumped in that space. But, you know, they don't maneuver like traditional conservatives and stuff like that. That's what we're seeing playing out. So, yeah, it definitely was a scam. But that is the connection, you know, and a lot of times, like a lot of those traditional guys that position themselves in that space, they thirsty as fuck. So, because those females, man, they always be having a scandal after a scandal after a scandal. So the female, man, especially if they cute, they jump in that space and just echo basic shit. Them guys be like, oh my God, they said the greatest thing ever. Oh my God, here's all our money. They throwing money at these chicks and shit. So, I mean, it's not a dumb play for her to do that, you know, because yeah, them dudes, they see them, they try to pull any female that come in that space and echo what they say. They going straight to the top. So yeah, that was a smart play on her part.
oh yeah, definitely.
But that's why I said them dudes be thirsty, man. And that's the main issue. They could talk all that shit they want to, but there's some thirsty motherfuckers, boy.
Yeah, it's usually the ones that got that big wallet that's gonna, like, you know, start tricking on them.
All right, so I'm gonna jump to the next part because, like I said, I just wanted to capture the part where she was like, "Yeah, you know, I was a consumer," so he gonna keep building up. So I'm gonna jump to the part where he starts talking about the NDAs and stuff, and then when he goes into, I'll skip to the husband stuff because that's the main part that ties into a lot of shit. Because yeah, once he starts getting to the pictures and stuff, that's where Orlando like, yeah, he's like, I ain't having
the first
it.
time was for my channel.
Sure.
So I needed to do a one-on-one interview. So I got to do that plus our after hours.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Does Anton have you on an NDA? I've read that somewhere. A non-disclosure agreement for people who don't know.
Yeah, they always said it because some people pay attention to.
But does he have you on one?
No, I'm not on NDA.
So you're not on NDA.
No, I'm not on NDA. But he does give out NDAs to a lot of people. If not
staff, you mean staff?
Anybody that he works with. So they don't have to be staff if he just maybe interviewed you or whatever.
But were you ever on an NDA?
No.
So what's the exception? Why are you an exception?
I don't think I'm an exception because I don't ask, who's on an NDA. So I don't know.
But you know that other people are.
But I have seen him, put people on NDA. But as far as staff go, I don't ask. It's almost like at your job, you don't go, well, what's your salary?
Oh,
what's your salary?
Oh no, they do.
Depending on where
you're
not
work,
supposed
they
to.
They wouldn't ask me.
With HR, you're not supposed to.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I've never inquired to the other hosts if they have it or not because I really don't care.
Now, are you paid per episode?
Real quick, you think he was showing some different treatment for not putting her on an NDA if he was putting other people on there, man? Or you think maybe he just probably started to practice after like he met her?
Like that could be the case because Mika's been with been working
She been
with
there for a minute, right?
yeah, and, you know, and eventually like you know you get wiser, you get smarter, you come up with you know
Okay.
new ideas. But let's say for instance, if he had people on the NDA contract before Mika, and let's just say she was the exception, my guess would be, or my assumption would be more of like, all right, maybe they had like a light conversation, but she somehow probably controlled the narrative. You know what I mean? Where it's like, well, but I wouldn't even think it would go that far where she would like really be bold enough to tell him, well, I won't work with you if you're gonna put me on NDA. I would think more of like he probably was so blinded with lust that signing him for an NDA just wouldn't be reasonable to him.
Yeah, because man, if you're gonna do NDAs, man, you can't be halfway in and halfway out. Like you can't have half the people doing the shit and then some of them not doing it. Because man, you got to have consistency in your business practices. So, you know, that's one thing. Like, you know, just not even speaking on his situation. You know, that's one thing people got to do. So even if you say like we were talking about, you started it on the tail end or midway through, because like you said, you're learning stuff. So that's a fair point. But it's just you go back to the other people and be like, hey, man, I'm going to put everybody on NDA. So I got a consistent business practice with everybody. And there's no like perception of like preferential treatment and shit like that. And then also, it sounds like shit. Micca should have been the one on there because she about to start getting into the pay and stuff. So he damn sure should have put her ass on the NDA.
Oh yeah, he should have.
But I think one thing, man, people definitely got to lawyer up and get smarter how they maneuver. Because I think, you know, people think like NDAs are like airtight. But I think if a female makes an allegation to anything, that's when they could be like voided and stuff. So, you know, like when Anton's out here be like, oh man, you know, he's commenting on like females that he's paying beauty and shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of setting himself up. Like he's painting that picture that, you know, say if somebody made an allegation that by him saying stuff in public and how he's maneuvering, man, he could, you know, how it just adds fuel to the fire. So that's the other part of it. It's just like, hey man, if you gonna do business, man, you better make sure that that image line up. Cause like them NDAs, all somebody has to do is get mad and make an allegation and you out here making statements and stuff. And that picture could be painted kind of like with all the rumor mill that's going on. Yeah, you might be getting hit with them lawsuits and shit. So yeah, he's gonna have to tighten up how he maneuver and shit moving forward.
Right. I know like she mentioned somewhere down the line about, you know, the way how he first maneuvers is pretty much doing it for the views of YouTube or whatever his persona. But I think one thing that's gonna really probably buy him like in the long run, it ain't gonna happen now, but it's gonna probably happen sometime later. The fact that he boldly said that, look, he's not working with a girl, with a woman, unless she's fine and she's sleeping with him. That's one of the things that he did say.
I don't know about the sleeping with him. I know he said fine. They got to be like good looking. Cause I heard him on the Tasha K. I don't think he crossed that line. I'm not gonna put that jacket on him.
All right, well, look, I won't say allegedly for now because I had to find a video, and I know it's probably one of many O'Shea's like Dude Jackson's videos, so I probably ain't gonna be able to find that anytime soon. But he did mention allegedly, right? He did mention about them like pretty much like giving the cheeks or something, somewhere around that line. And I remember O'Shea, he covered it, but again, O'Shea makes too many goddamn videos of Anton.
Yeah. O'Shea got like 100. But no, I say like, because that's a good point though. It's just, and that's why I'm saying, if you mention people's like beauty and you only have them, you already setting the stage that you got like weird practices going on. So that's what I'm saying, man. My man, I think he's trying to live too much for the outer image. And he wants to be seen as like a player. Like I think I was talking to somebody. I was like, man, he's trying to be the black Hugh Hefner. You know, like, oh man, I got all these women around me. But my whole thing is just like, man, you better keep that shit professional, because once somebody catch you slipping, and some of these females that's money hungry, they smell that blood in the water. They got them allegations. And if you want, like, because he was also on that Tasha K, because I was listening to a piece, I forgot who was playing it. But yeah, he was like, nah, man, I don't have no ugly chicks around me. Nah, they gotta be. So once you start mentioning beauty, man, you already set that stage that you kind of in that lane, and if somebody made that lawsuit, you kind of looking guilty out here, because that's how that shit works. So that's why, man, it's just like, man, you got to keep it business. I get it. You see a pretty female, man, you can't be thirsty, and you got to just don't fuck up your money. You should look at your money as it's more prettier than any female that you've seen. Yeah, and a lot of them can't do that, man. They just jump in them waters and shit and fuck up their whole business model. But all right, man, I'm gonna keep playing some more.
Okay, for sure.
No, I'm paid per month. Just
Per
like,
month?
Yeah, like YouTube.
Wow. How much does he pay you?
I mean,
the
depends.
range.
It depends because we bring in a lot of super chats, which is extra money that the audience gives.
And that's the way he makes the money for the show?
No.
Okay.
YouTube has AdSense and he has sponsorships, things like that. So all of that is factored in, plus anything that the audience gives as well.
Sure. So how much does he pay you? We were just talking about that range. Unless you want to specifically say how much.
I'm not going to give a specific
because that's the NDA characteristic.
No, that's my.
Or you want to protect him?
That's
so
my
then how
business.
Much?
That's my business mind sense, because there are other people on that show. I do not know how much.
So then let's give a range, because the range doesn't pinpoint. The range.
That's why I said I can do the range.
Yeah, sure.
You asked me to pinpoint.
Sure. What's the range?
So I can do a range of anywhere between 2 to maybe 35.
To what? I don't know. You said $2, $200.
To 35.
2,000
to 35.
to 3,500 a month.
Correct.
Okay, for your role.
I'm only on that show. So there are some people that are on 5 days a week. There are some people that are on 1 day a week. And for me, I'm only on Thursdays and Fridays.
Okay. So
what was that?
I was just actually pause real quick. So, those numbers. Okay. Unless if she has a main job, and then what she does with Anton's like her secondary, or maybe she lives in a goddamn state where it's just like dirt cheap. You know what I mean?
No,
I don't know.
She in the DMV area. This shit ain't cheap around here.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I think she gave him some bogus numbers, man, because if you're doing this full time, you talking about like the range of like what 2,000 to like 3,500. I'm like, man, you capping right now, because look.
I don't think so, man. Anton getting that bread, and what I give him credit, man. He pays everybody.
I know
he probably threw a little bit on the extra for Micca, but he do pay his people, man. And he doing some numbers.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I'm not saying that he's paying her like he's like some kind of like cheapskate, but the way how like Anton's trying to promote this chick, and the way how she's operating, the way how he's moving, I don't think he's just giving her like the most of like 3,500. I would say like she's probably getting paid like to like at least 5 to 7K. I wanted to go through that stretch because again, Anton's a trick, and I know like he's a flashy, flamboyant type of guy, so I know for sure he's not really giving her like little crumbs, because 3,500. I'm gonna be honest with you, if that's her full-time job, that ain't nothing to supplement your income. But she do have a husband who pays all the bills, so
yeah, that's why she don't want to work, because that's what she was saying in the one video that I broke down. That she was like, "Hey, I want to do these hobbies and shit." So for somebody that's just like, what'd she say, 2 days and probably like 10 hours out the whole month or whatever that comes out to, how much? That's not bad. You know what I'm saying? Just for doing your kind of your passion. You know what I'm saying? A hobby. That's decent bread, man. But I could see her him paying her that. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, we're cheap as fuck. So you'll be lucky to get like a. We looking at it from our lens, like, oh hell nah, because she's not the most entertaining person. Like, I would say the one that probably deserves the biggest bag if I was gonna get somebody was Molly, because Molly's the one that like pisses off the whole like internet with that crazy shit she be saying. But Micca's kind of like even kill and stuff. Where like, because I was on a panel with her and she's actually pretty cool, man. But like, she don't say nothing that's like, you know, really over the top where you're gonna be like, oh my God, I got to tune back in, because you know how people have that love and hate relationship with a person. So you get that with Molly, but not from Micca. So yeah, if I'll be paying her at the lower end, I'll be like, man, you're gonna get like $500 for the month. Like, damn sure ain't getting into the thousands and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. But I do think he's like I said, it's kind of consistent because he's paying a lot of people. But I think he, like you said, there was a little tricking that went on where there's probably a little fluff in her payments. Mm-hmm. But he definitely should have put her ass on an NDA, because he over here like giving a range. So typically when people give a range, like they're going to be somewhere in the middle of that. So she's probably like 20 between 25 and 2,700.
Yeah.
Which ain't bad for doing a hobby, man. You know what I'm saying? Because she kind of came out of nowhere where she did the political stuff. And like I said, she'll go on other people's. I've seen her on Fatties. She was on Rush, you know, panels. So she'll 2Ks, I think. So she'll do like content, but for her to kind of get that when, you know, people be like grinding out here trying to get like a couple hundred a month, for her to land into that ain't a bad deal for her.
Okay.
Yeah. But you think it's bullshit, huh?
He's giving a little bit extra though. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it could be, man, because that ain't bad for her. But shit, if he getting it like that, I ain't mad at him.
Thursdays and Fridays, you make a good amount of money just for Thursdays and Fridays.
Correct.
Yeah. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of what's been out there.
What was that?
Okay, so you know, so now I stand corrected. Now that makes sense. She is getting paid very, very well if you're only just streaming 2 days out of a week. So basically, just like basically, you have to just do 8 shows within that month, and you're good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Think about it, and you know, I don't know how long they stay on at that room 9. And that's a kind of a foul name now that we hearing all this shit. Was that a hotel room? I think they made the name the podcast of a hotel room and shit. That's some gangster ass shit. And nigga said, "Look, this is room 9 because that's my spot at the Waldorf." You know, but nah, yeah, for like you said, 2 days, because I think they go for a few hours. That's not bad, and you just sitting in at your house, man. And this was some shit you was gonna do anyways. You know, because you're trying to do content, so that's what I'm saying. That's not bad.
For sure, man. I need Anton to sign me up, man. So I can...
You say you gonna slap on a wig and go over there like, "Hey, Anton." No, that's hilarious. Yeah, he paying them.
Mm-hmm. So I understand that Anton is married. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you're married.
Correct.
Correct. Have you met Anton's wife?
Yes.
How would you describe her?
She's when I say probably one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life, that lady is probably one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Hey, I heard that.
If I was Rita, I'd be rolling my eyes. I'd be like, motherfucker.
Like, look. You know, I mean, look, I don't try to attack nobody's wives like that, so I'm not gonna really go there. But let's just be honest. You know, the truth is that you have people who are like average or below average as far as like, you know, like symmetrics and facial features. And that narcissism was coming out of her because she was going to say that, oh, like she's very beautiful, but wait a minute, I forgot, I'm the only beautiful one. So, oh, she's very kind and sweet. So I kind of heard that stutter a little bit where she kind of like flipped it a little bit.
Yeah, if you in Micca's boat, you be like, man, that girl is drop dead gorgeous. You play that up. But like I said, honestly, Micca should have never even did this. She should have just came out here, took some accountability, be like, you know what? I was maneuvering bad. I didn't understand the perception. I'm going to maneuver different. The end. This shit would have been dead, but since she could, I'm telling you, I understand that mindset. It's the pretty girl, like, psychology. They're so used to, like, manipulating the men that's around them. Because, you know, like I said, them dudes pedestalize them. They could control those guys. So they think they could do it to the rest of the world. And that's where she's at. Because she's just going from, like, interview to interview. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this girl?
Right.
If you don't sit your ass down and, like, disappear for a little bit. But yeah, she definitely botched that one. She was trying to be nice, but my Orlando he ain't letting up. That's the issue.
Has Anton met your husband?
In person, absolutely not.
He has not met him
No.
in person. Has
No.
he met him over the phone or in DM? What other form of introduction when you say not in person?
Let me ask you a question, man. If you was in a deep relationship, you know what you are and shit, but will you allow your significant other, your spouse, whatever, like girlfriend, to get on these panels, kind of, you know, based on what people are talking about, you know, how he's kind of flirtatious and what he says, like, oh, you know, I'm not gonna let the guys fly in and stuff. Would you let your female like get on a panel with somebody that be kind of talking like that?
Hell no.
And he was breaking that type of bread?
Nah. Like, because see, I want to protect my peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not caring about the outcome between her and the other dude. I'm only caring about the outcome that happens that's going to affect me. You know, by the association, you know, in my relationship with my girl, if she was to go on a platform where you're with a misogynistic type of dude who think he's high almighty, but then he's like this playboy or whatever.
Would you call him the pastor that nobody wants?
Yeah, the pastor that nobody wants, man, in the black community. Yeah, I want to set myself up for failure like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing myself as a disservice, and you know, I'm putting my girl out there in that type of field where she's putting herself like in harm's way. So then I feel like I'm responsible, knowing like that type of stuff can happen, and you get yourself caught up into it because I approved it. You know?
Yeah. What? Because I like homie's content. I ain't gonna lie, man. You know, he's definitely entertaining, but yeah, ain't no way in hell like I'll send like I'll let my wife go in that environment. Because one thing I kind of pick up, I think on Anton, is it's almost like he likes to try to punk guys due to women, I think. So it's almost like, say like if your chick goes over there, he's gonna be he's gonna make some statements like that's gonna kind of almost make you look soft, like, man, you know, the women around me, they listen to me more than, you know, their husbands and stuff. So it's almost like, man, the women that go there knowing that he be saying these kind of statements, man, they don't understand that they putting their husbands in a bad predicament, because it's almost like those guys are in a submissive state when a guy's kind of making those type of statements and shit. So yeah, ain't no way in hell like my chick talk about, hey, I'm going over there to the panel. I'll be like, hey, you gotta kick rocks then. Keep it pushing. Like you can't come back over here after that, because you know I ain't about to eat no shit sandwich and be looking like no punk over here. Damn that, I would shut it down.
Yeah, for
real. Because a lot of people assume that, you know, when you have to see people, it has to be in person, or that if you don't meet them in person, then it's something or whatever. So
no, so I'm saying, what's the form of communication?
I mean,
that he met your husband?
they don't have a form of communication where they talk back and forth.
Yeah. So, but you said he did not meet your husband in person.
No.
Is that to imply that he met him virtually?
No.
So he's never met your husband?
No.
And why is that?
No particular reason.
Sure.
Just I've never had to actually do anything where my husband was there, and so if he's there, like if my like when we work together, is here, so my husband's come here. But if
Yeah,
it
but
was,
when we first met and worked together,
we were in person as well.
Your husband came.
Yeah, but we were
yes.
here. We were here in the DC area. Yes, my husband came.
Yes.
So again, if he was here, then yes. But most of my business dealings, and if not all, I usually have a manager or somebody else deal with that. So that's the reason why it's not a thing. But I talk to my husband about it.
How long have you and Anton been business partners or friends?
We're business partners, and
so you're not a friend, because I don't want to provide language that's inaccurate.
That's why I changed it.
Yeah.
We're business partners, absolutely.
You're not friends.
No.
Okay.
Friends would imply that we hang outside of business.
Not necessarily. Well, yes, correct.
Yeah, like.
See, she put my homie in like trick category now. She's like, hell no. Like,
But y'all going to like these NBA games together, so maybe that was for business.
yeah, that ain't no damn that's a fucking date. You going to a goddamn NBA game courtside, goddamn it. that should look like a. I think he was trying to, put on the, because like I said, man, I think he's like good at presenting like the over the top stuff. Like, man, I got business meetings here. I'm doing this and this. So I think he was like definitely added on. But yeah, as a female, ain't no way in hell, like, because I do understand people that's in the social media space, you might be called to do some interviews. But it's like, man, you go to the interview and you go back to your hotel room, or you invite your spouse. You know what I'm saying? Because even my wife, when she goes travel, she's inviting me to everywhere. I can't go to everything, but it's that invite. And she goes to her stuff and she goes to her room and stuff. And, half the time she be hitting me up on the phone. I'm like, God damn. But she's always presenting that side. And she ain't going to like all these events and standalone dinners with people and stuff like that. So yeah, for her to kind of operate like that, if I was a female, I'd be like, yeah, man, is your wife coming? You know what I'm saying? I'll be trying to befriend a wife. Like, hey, if they invited me to dinner and the wife was there, that's different. Because, it's like a company type thing. You got more people there versus like two people. But yeah, when you start doing the individualistic shit and y'all chilling there taking the pictures like that, like, even if it's innocent, man, the perception that y'all build and both of y'all got spouses, that's where you got to look out stuff. Because like I said, in their mind, it could be like, oh, man, we just kicking it and stuff. Ain't nothing happening. But you got to think about the person that you're actually with. So that's why I don't never, people always invite me after work. Like, hey, man, we're going to go get some drinks. I'm like, hell nah, man. Like, I ain't doing none of that shit. I go to work and I go home. But, because of the perception of that my wife might have to respond to. So I'm just not willing to even go down that path, even though I know I ain't going to do shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Shout out to Big Stan in the building.
Yeah, facts. Big Stan, yeah.
He says
you give that invite. I don't care. Like anytime I go anywhere, I see my wife, like she could travel and stuff, and vice versa. She does the same thing. So yeah, ain't none of that. Like you getting flown out, and I get to see pictures of you at the courtside at the game and shit. Hell nah. I mean, how would you take that? Like, would you be allowing that to go on?
Nah. Like I said, man, like
I hear your voice cracking, so that's a hell nah. You're trying to be tactful right now. You're like, oh hell nah.
Like to me, like all because all this stuff it really is not making much sense. Like I said, like even with the comment, right? Like people will think that's suspicious. It leaves open for affairs in the. Matter of fact, let me highlight that real quick. I'm glad he said that because here's the thing. Okay, now since you want to go with like, oh, we're just business partners, we're not friends. Okay, so him putting his hand around almost down to like the top ass cheek or whatever, but more to like your waistline. So those are like like for business. You go out to these dates, these NBA games where sitting in front row seating, all that is for business. So I can only imagine you guys get a hotel rooms together, and yet you guys claiming this is for business. To me, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you're pretty specific. Huh?
Like, where's her husband in the picture? Like, is he like a traveler nurse, or like, does he travel somewhere to the point where he's not physically present to be around when she's having these business transactions with one another?
But here's the fucked up part, and Orlando's gonna cover this. Like, I'm gonna play a little bit of this, and I'm gonna jump to the part where he kind of like, man, you ain't got no pictures of your husband on there. But can you imagine you're seeing this shit? She had courtside games and stuff, and she posts this on the IG and not a picture of you. And meanwhile, she's trying to like defend why she ain't got a picture of you up there because, hey man, I don't want people to see my like family and stuff. But hey, by the way, I got these pictures up here. Yeah, I'll be livid at that point. I'll be like, all right, man, I got dip. That shit crazy. Let me go ahead and play this though.
The interview,
right?
So as you,
The show did an interview, or just you and him?
this was my interview day.
The first day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
So this is my interview day, because you can go and you can see the outfits, the same
Sure.
outfit, same everything. Now what he is doing here is he had already a business meeting set up there. So there is
That's what he told you.
no,
correct?
that's
No,
what happened.
no, I'm not saying that's what he told you as if that was a cake bake. He told you he had a business meeting and you were invited.
No.
Okay.
So again, back there, probably like on the first level there is a area where if you have, your high roller seats and things like that, you I don't know what they call it there in Detroit, but here
Sure.
in DC, they call it maybe the Ultra Club and things like that,
Got
where
it.
all the people that have club seats, things
Sure.
like that. Yeah, you have
Been new. And the final thing you said was you posted the picture.
Correct.
I have nothing further. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Next picture. I was flabbergasted by this picture
Okay, tell me why.
because there's no way.
All right, M3. So you chilling at the crib, man. You 100% provider. You doing the right things for wifey, man. You holding shit down. She convinced you that, hey, I don't got no pictures of you on my social media because this is for business. I don't want the people to attack you. You at home chilling, holding shit down while she's on the business trip. And you see this image pop up on her IG. What you doing, Playboy?
Grounds for divorce, man.
You say you filing ASAP, huh?
I'm getting the fuck out of here. I had that marriage then. You know what I mean? Because at this point, oh shoot, my bad, Dane.
Dame Dollar was good, man.
It was good,
Not too
Yeah,
much,
man.
man. Yeah, I didn't know you was in the back room, but good damn, I saw your message. But man,
Yeah, I didn't even see Dame back there, man.
I know he was chilling in the shadows, man.
So what would you do though, M3? This pops up. You're nowhere to be seen and shit.
All right, me being like, a level-headed guy, okay? I'm gonna have to sit down and ask some questions. I'm gonna ask like, hey man, like, what were you doing? What were you thinking when you making that pose? And why you think you felt like it was okay? Because now, if you look at it, this is a couple's picture, man. And I don't know if they added his hand or whatever, because I for sure saw like a hand around her waist, but whatever. I could have been wrong, but let's just say, let's focus on Micca real quick. Look how Anton is posing. He got the belly on top of, like, maybe like the lower side of the boobs or whatever. Chest leaning in on her. But then look how she's leaning. Like, you got both arms, your hands leaning on her shoulder, all like just really close together. It could have just been a simple pose where you could have just had like the church hug. You know what I mean? Just like one hand behind his back or something like that. I know in most pictures it tends to happen when you're with like, like a group of people or with someone else. But you cannot catch me like leaning so close to a woman or having someone lean close to me like that. Unless if I just didn't give a shit and I just wanted her to like do that just for bragging rights. You know what I mean?
The
But
funniest part with this picture, because me and my wife was talking about this before we jumped on this, and I was like, "Hey, man, what do you think I would do if I seen this come out? Like, if I was in this situation, you was Micca, and then my wife was like, "Oh, you'll be gone." I was like, "You're fucking right. You're smart as hell." Because ain't no way in hell I'm gonna be looking at some stuff I ain't gonna be on shit. And I see this picture pop up, and she's posing in front of a sign that says, "Please don't do no coke in the bathroom." I'm filing paperwork that day. So, Dave, what's your take? What would you do if you was in this situation? How would you take it?
First of all, I'll just start off. It's like Micca and Anton are built the same. They are willing to humiliate their spouse for clout and fame and money, possibly. Like, if I saw this picture, number one, it's so hard for us, people like me, you, us to fathom, because it wouldn't happen with us. Our stuff would just be too put together for this to even be a possibility that we would align ourselves with people who would humiliate us like this.
Dame, real quick, I know you about to cook, but that's a fact. And the funny thing is, man, I always see you posting pictures with you and your wife hanging out because, I like seeing that shit. So I'm always like, that's fire and stuff. Y'all traveling around. So, yeah, there's no way in hell your wife would have an IG and there ain't no picture of you on there or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So that's facts.
The funny thing is, don't get me wrong, it's not me to judge other people's relationships because I can't say, I only can know how, like I said, we can only go what we do in our own situation. Like, I don't know that her and her man have not had a conversation and been like, hey, I'm going to go and manipulate this dude. He's going to put me on. I'm going to get all this clout and stuff, and then I'm going to drop him. I don't know if they had that conversation or if Anton has a conversation with his wife. I'm going to go and manipulate this chick, use her pretty face, use it for clout and status, and then I'm gonna drop her without her ending up with anything. See, I don't know if they had those conversations. I highly doubt it, but I think what it is they just got with people who have no real guidelines or no real demand for outward respect. Like I said, I don't know what the conversation looks like behind closed doors, but the outward appearance is I don't have respect for my spouse because I'm willing to make them look like an ass.
Dang, man, I think, man, I'll say for Micca's, I think the dude is pedestalizing her. And I think with her, man, she's leaving that door open to possibly like, because if you hide your husband, man, you're either embarrassed or you're just pretty much, you're on some shit like, I'm possibly will entertain some stuff if it's a better offer. Cause like you said, man, like I just seen too many females that's in, like if they in love, man, they damn near like tattooing they dude's face on their arm or some shit.
Yeah,
You damn sure gonna be on the IG and all that. So you just would never see that dynamic where you're hiding a guy of a certain caliber. You know what I'm saying?
The funny thing is, I actually seen his page because somebody brought his page up. She not on his page either.
Oh, okay.
So they must have came to an agreement that we weren't going to be on each other's page. But I think it's stupid as hell.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand that. I'm like, man, if you got to throw your shots at me and who I'm with, do it. That's who I chose. I'm comfortable with it. Do what you need to say.
Have you seen her husband's page?
Nah, I've never seen his.
Oh my God. Let me see if I can find and send the link here. I forgot what his name is. I was watching it and somebody pulled it up and then let me see if I can find it. Hold on a second. Y'all keep it going. I'm gonna see if I can find the page and give you the link.
no problem. And Dirk, I sent you like a link to like her IG profile. You can actually see a comparison of like the way how she hugs like certain guys as opposed to the way how she hugged Anton.
I just want to play the video because I don't want to go that far.
I got you.
Yeah.
But also too, right? Besides that part, on her IG, she does like she has a lot of good interactions with a lot of celebrities like Jamie Foxx, Yo Gotti, and some other folks. So I don't know if that's because of the pull that Anton had for her. So maybe those are like benefits. But yeah, you could play the video. I know we're actually passing that 1 hour mark. So
Okay. Yeah. Let me.
My wife would be physically touching, leaning on a married man, leaning on a single man, leaning on another man in a way that suggests, I'm feeling you, I like you. This is really some sort of.
Why do you think that says I'm feeling you?
Even if it doesn't say I'm feeling you, I don't want my
saying,
wife.
Why do you think?
Yeah.
Why do you think that suggests that I'm feeling you? Because
This is the fuck Orlando moment that Micca had in her mind. She was like, I'm no longer this motherfucker's friend. I don't know what happened to Orlando, but
Yeah.
he definitely turned up ties. But
Okay, let's
hold on.
omit
No, hold on.
so we
The
don't get
reason
stuck
why
on
I'm
that word.
asking you,
Okay.
the reason why I'm asking you is I have tons of pictures of our former co-hosts
Yep.
with the same lean, everything.
But here's the difference.
Hold on.
Yes.
And that person is also a male, all right? And we have a working relationship, and it's the same exact type of picture.
But here's the disrespect. Here's the disrespect. This is a married man that you are physically leaning into.
I'm not leaning into.
I'm gonna jump to the other part.
Each one of those pictures, that's literally just chilling
And
the entire time.
And most importantly, if I can impose, most importantly, making your family a priority, making your husband
my family is definitely a priority.
Well, again, we're talking about imagery.
this is sad, man. When somebody got to damn near like reinstate to you, man, you got to readjust your priorities. This is where she was like looking bad and stuff. I don't think she paused what she was doing with these interviews. That's why I said, man, she got to be egotistical to come out here and keep doing this shit.
The public doesn't know behind the scenes. You're a public figure. You do a show. I do a show. You put things out there, and you have to be responsible for the images that you put out, but also the images that you are participating in, and be a very conscious, clear, and very divine woman who walks with the knowledge of knowing that any man that you deal with as a married woman should meet your husband if it's a contractual ongoing relationship, and that would have been your last flight.
Well, I mean, that can happen regardless whether my husband meets somebody or not.
Yeah, but it's critical to have your husband an integral part of your decisions when you're out here making them.
And he's still, and my husband's very much a part of my decisions because again, I don't move, and that's I have to explain to my husband where I'm going. I don't get to just get up and go.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so that's always there. But what?
Let me ask y'all a question, man. Just based on this, do you think like Micca's pretty much calling the shots of that relationship? Is that the vibe you get?
I think so. I get that vibe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was telling my wife because she was like, man, you know, what's going on with him? I was just like, man, I think when guys enter that dynamic, man, they so infatuated. It's almost like he probably don't like the stuff that's going on, but he definitely wants to say something, but probably like scared too. Cause that's why I think the dynamic is.
Yeah, it kind of plays. It's kind of pretty self-evident.
Yeah,
because but the funny thing is, both this interview and the one she did with Tasha K, she's not coming out looking good. She's coming out looking out as a liar. She's coming looking like she's shady. She's coming off real bad in both of these interviews because they're asking her straightforward questions and she's dancing. She's dancing around it and stuff like that. Like he asked her, when did you tell your husband that you were going to the game? She was like, he knew I was going to. If I wanted to hide it from him, I wouldn't have posted a video. No, that's not his question. His question, she's like, I don't remember. She's like, as a married woman, you don't remember if you told him before or after the game. And that was just like she thinks she's being like savvy, but it's just coming off as just invasive.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Dame. I was like, man, I think she thinks she's smarter than everybody. Cause I think like a person that's like cause I think she controls a lot of men that's around her. Cause like I said,
Just by her looks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those guys,
'Cause
like, since they so thirsty and shit, she thinks she could do it to everybody. And I think that's where she getting that reality
And
check.
that's the worst thing is because she ain't that bright.
Nah.
And that's just the way it is. I'm just saying. I mean,
You've been on a few panels with her, right? Because like
I was on one panel with her back in the day. It was one panel back in the day, and she's just not that bright. And it's just the thing is, I feel bad because dudes make it seem like she's really saying some shit. Where like even at the beginning of this interview, when she tried to make it seem like the liberal media and all this stuff like that, I was like, dude, you hear things, but you can't explain. You don't understand things, and you try to parrot these talking points, and it just comes off looking silly. And then people just say, okay, you just sit there and look cute and we'll work around you,
Yeah, she was cashing out just on some basic shit. That's what I was saying. I was like, man, all she got to do is like these females. I was like, they keep tricking these TradCon dudes, man, like, because they'll go and echo everything. And they're like, oh, my God, she said the most elaborate shit. Here's a check.
Yeah. I mean, she says in this interview, Anton was paying her $2,000 to $3,500 a month for what? Keep her mouth shut and allow it to keep her mouth shut and allow him to make it seem like he's smashing her.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit. That's why I said, man, my boy is certified trick now. Like I can't hold back on that. Because that's a lot of money just for. I have a hard time giving a motherfucker like a Chili's gift card, let alone.
I mean, I can understand if she had this witty commentary that just bought all this stuff, like insight that was like, oh my God, she was just dropping all these jewels on people. Nothing, man. Nothing. I mean, seriously, there's nothing there.
No, I'm with you, Dave. That's why I was like, the only one that's probably on that panel, I was like, man, I would, is Molly. Because she gets everybody worked up. She's going to say some shit that's like,
she's controversial.
People gonna have that love-hate relationship, but I just don't see it with Micca, man. That's a waste of money right there.
I mean, seriously.
I'll be like, look, I'll pay your StreamYard. What is that, like $50-$80? But other than that, I was like, yeah, I can't give you no bread. If I was Anton, he should have worked out.
That's a lot of money. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know how much like she's contributed to any success that he's had. So I can't tell if she's worth the squeeze. Maybe he's thinking, oh man, I'm getting up cheap with this chick at 24 because all the revenue that she's bringing in. But I just don't see. I just don't see it.
I mean, unfortunately, the only thing she could just contribute is that she's a pretty woman that looks good, and brings the viewerships. It brings the views of other men because I'm for sure like Anton's YouTube channel, right, is probably predominantly men who are supporting him. So as much as these incels type of dudes or whatever be talking about women or roasting them or talk about that macho man shit, as soon as they see a pretty face or whatever, they're pretty much like, open those Jergen bottles, behind a computer screen. So,
he's paying to look like a player. Anton's paying the cost to look like a player. That's why all of his panels are attractive women and stuff like that, because he makes it seem like for some they're coming for him. They're like, oh yeah, I got access to beautiful women, so that's why they all on my panels. It's an ego thing with him. It's all an ego driven thing with him. Everybody knows it. Everybody sees it.
I think it's also a marketing play as well because again, Anton's theme is like he wants to bring guys together so they could be inspired to become millionaires like him. But as long as they take their course, as long as they listen to his advice, as long as they step up on their YouTube game or whatever, then you could have access to all these fine women and yet still have a wife and be Christian, right? At the same time. So what he's displaying to like most guys, right, is that look, man, you need to be like me because your money is your leverage. Your money could control everything. You could get like a mediocre wife who will allow you to like have a bunch of bad chicks. You know what I mean?
The
But
funny,
that's
but
the persona of it.
you know who you remind me of back in the day? I used to stay up late and watch those infomercials. It was this Vietnamese dude named Tom Vu. He'd be like, come to my
I remember
place.
Tom.
He used to be on the yacht with all the women in bikinis. Anton is the modern day Tom Vu. Seriously. You wanna have this kind of life? You wanna be on this boat with all these lovely ladies? Come to my free seminar. And Anton is sign up for the Millionaire Morris Club. But I'm just like, but the thing is, I'm like, with the Millionaire Morris Club, like, has he ever had a millionaire that he's made? Or he's helped make millions? He always like, oh, I coach these people and I've done these and I've done this. I don't consume a ton of his content, but I'm just like, I'm wondering, does he have like guys like, man, Anton, like those testimonials, like, yeah, I listened to your thing and now I'm making $1 million, or my money is right and my relationship's right. I don't see him having those people come on and just be like bigging up his program. And anybody I know who is a part of the Millionaire that I know ain't a part of it no more. Like, I think Sharon was down with it. I think Lucky did it. A couple other people. None of them are like saying, yeah, it got me anything.
Yeah, I don't know too many people. I mean, some of the stuff he says, man, is I'll say good advice, but it's more like I'll say basic stuff. But I do think that's what we need for majority of people. But other is like you said, advanced like programs and stuff. Yeah, nah, I wouldn't say it goes that deep. But like I said, I haven't been behind that wall to see what they say. But nah, I haven't seen too many people giving those type of testimonials.
I just haven't. It's like like somebody said this a long time ago about Diddy. They was like, name one person that rocked with Diddy that's still famous, got balling out of control. You don't, because everything he did was centered around him. So it's
that's a fact, yeah.
Seriously, it was like hearing. It's like, come and spend money to hear me talk about how I make money by you spending money. It's like, seriously, come and show. Let me tell you how I get rich off of you giving me your money.
Nah, that's definitely true. Yeah, it's just too much. Like I like flashy shit sometimes, so I find it entertaining. But I think when you're trying to teach people, man, you can't. You got to kind of be humble and stuff.
Yeah, so, but sell that brand in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think that's where the issue is with them. Like online, like you just talking shit, it's funny. But yeah, you can't have it all. And I think Anton's trying to have like every dynamic. It's almost like, man, you got to pick a side. Like if you want to be the $1 million man, like in WWE, like go all the way with that. Be flamboyant, flashy, smash chicks. That's your lane. Ain't nobody gonna be mad. But you can't be like you're damn near walking on water. Because what he say, he's the next thing to Jesus. Then you want to be the player on his side. Then you want to be the money guy. Then you want to be. You can't have it all.
His brand is in constant battle with his ego every day. His brand is family man, about his paper, making smart decisions. Aligning yourself with positive image and role models and actions. And then he gets caught up in mess. And then he wants to be the tough guy wanting to fight Corey Holcomb. Oh, let's go outside. I'm the tough guy now. Then it wants to be, the ladies man. He always has that little coy, like, I could, I'm hitting. You don't know if I'm hitting or not, kind of situation. He always had that. I'm like, dude, that your brand and your ego. I think he wants to be all the things he never was. I don't think he ever was a tough guy. I don't think he ever was a ladies man. So now the internet provides a platform where he can fake the front on both of those fronts.
Yeah, because I like when he was just giving the information. Because I
Yeah.
think, yeah, when he was like, when he kind of conformed, like you said, man, to try to push the tough guy shit, it's like, all right, man, and the player stuff. If
And the
you're
thing
kind of
is,
like good with females, like I know you got that background, Dame. It's like you already know what that is. It's like if you're paying females to be around you, I already kind of know that mindset. I'm like,
yeah, I mean, it's just
this ain't
like
gonna end good.
if you've had beautiful women around you, you don't need you. It's not a mandatory thing that you have beautiful men around you.
Yeah.
You know, Hugh Hefner even said it. Like people are like, oh, Hugh Hefner. I remember someone brought up Hugh Hefner once when I was on what's called it. Hugh Hefner was a virgin until he was like in his 20s, and his
Oh,
first
for real?
wife, his first wife cheated on him, left him for another man. He wasn't a player that got a lot of women at all until he got reached mid 30s, early 40s. And he made a bunch of money and had some celebrity. So that's why he took advantage of it to the end of his days. So that's what it is. It's like a lot of these guys, they have the opportunity to like transform to things they never were, and they lean into it as their whole persona.
But even Hugh Hef, man, if you look at his lifestyle in the books, man, it was a miserable lifestyle, like you said, Dame, because, man, guys really don't like being in that dynamic. I think, after a while, when you just got to dole out money to, like, have women around you, man, it wears down on a lot of them guys. Like, they play the front, like you said, but typically, man, when a guy's just, that's the only reason they're around you, and they know that dynamic. Because people could see other people say, like, if I was out here and I got to dole out money to have females around me, and I see Dame getting interactions with females, just genuine interactions, that shit would eat me up inside. So I think that's what happens with a lot of them guys. But yeah, nah, Hugh Hef, you spot on, because yeah, even though everybody else idolized that shit, they said like when he was passing, man, that was some lonely stuff, because all them women were coming through just using him, doing tell-all books about talking bad about him and shit. Like they almost threw up in their mouth. Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine you a guy, you got to hear that type of shit about you?
I mean, seriously, I don't know. It's just one of those things where, like I said, I think he's at the point right now where the cult of Anton is pretty solid. So I don't think he's going to be losing anything per se.
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
neither.
because he never really had, like, I'm trying to think of some real solid cats that really rock with him, that threw in this whole YouTube space that really rocked with him. There's a few solid cats that I don't know that really like rock with him that tough. It's like his other buddy was like, how do I get like you? Or, how do I get where you at kind of situation? Or they emulated or want to idolize him. So they looked, they wanted what he had. But we get cats like us on this. I don't think nobody here want what Anton got. If somebody said you can have everything Anton got, but you got to be Anton, I'd be like, I pass.
Nah, I'm good where I'm at. Definitely, I'll take
Exactly.
advice from anybody that got some solid advice, but to be anybody else and maneuver like that, and ain't no way in hell I'll be a trick.
Or just have that image of like you trying too hard to be so many things. It's just you come off inauthentic. It's like that jack of all trade, master of none. You don't come off as the person who's like the authority in any of these things. You come off as somebody just inauthentic. You're just trying to be too much.
But let me, I'm gonna play the rest of this because we only got a couple more minutes. I know M3, he said he gotta get up out of here, but
cool.
What I'm talking about, one, the public wouldn't even know whether I did or didn't.
Yeah.
So me giving you this interview and telling you that it's something that the public would never even know.
Yeah. But let's remove the public thinking for a second and just perhaps think about maybe how your husband felt. I couldn't.
I can't. I'm not going to speculate how.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think all the images plastered all over social media, he felt good?
I'm not going to do that either.
You're not going to do what?
I'm not going to say what my husband felt like. My husband.
Did you and your husband have a conversation?
Figure, so I'm not gonna.
Right, I'm right, but I'm just saying, did you and your husband have a conversation about what he was exposed to? He sees images on social media.
Oh, you mean okay? So are you talking about this incident?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, now go ahead and answer the question.
So what I'm saying is, when your husband sees these images, what I'm saying is, it's not in important what the public sees or thinks, but it's perhaps what your husband and your family feel when they open up
So
the
those,
YouTube.
so those pictures have been sitting there for a year.
Well, not just those pictures. I'm just saying the most recent thing when you went with Anton to Corey's show, and things was just, there was a recent conversation about you being the side chick. So
okay, so that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because the images are not.
Yeah, but those images,
Those images have been on my
corroborated.
Instagram.
But those images corroborated a narrative that people wanted to put out there.
That they wanted,
had something to use.
Well, they have. You can, let me phrase it this way. You can use whatever you want to create a narrative, but again, those images have been on my Instagram for over a year.
And that's a beef I had with you. Why is this man on your Instagram and not your husband?
Perfect question.
So, I don't want to put that in.
Okay.
Because
see, this is the shit dude where I'm like, dude, pause it for a second. She's trying to come off as like, but it's coming off as stupid and just is in like a lie. She's coming off as like fake and weak. She's trying to come off like, oh, I want to protect my husband. Man, you're doing a horrible job of it.
No, I agree. Because that's what I was saying in the beginning. I'm like, if she wanted to kill this whole narrative, she should have just went to her own channel and been like, you know what? Y'all gave some great advice. I do need to maneuver different. I didn't look at the whole picture and I'm changing my ways. Thank you guys. And the end. You know what I'm saying? But instead, it's almost like when people have that ego thing, it's like, you know what? Nah, I can manipulate the masses. Nah, I'm going to change y'all mind. Y'all going to get behind me. And like you said, in this moment, it's just like, damn, like, just be like, you know what? Yeah, I can see it from your outside and I am going to maneuver different. You know, and it would just be that simple.
Yeah, but the fact is that, and honestly, Stan, like I have to say, she has no empathy in this case. But I think the fact is that he asks a really simple question. Now, you can articulate yourself very well when we was talking about politics and how you're like a devout Trump supporter because of X, Y to the Z. And you kind of gave a little bit of black talk or whatever. But when it comes to these tough questions that actually makes you to sit back and reflect, again, I guess at the time of the video, she must have had like, you know, her pictures like with Anton or whatever. So, but now like, you know, her Instagram, like she has no pictures of them. It's just gone, wiped off. Basically, just friend zone them. Or should I say, put him in the we're just colleagues type of category. But with but she still dodged the question. And if I were him, I would have circled back and asked her again, okay, why are you dodging the question I'm asking you of how does your husband feel when he's seeing all these pictures of you and another man?
But some things don't even need to be I mean, for entertainment purposes, yeah. But the fact that she ain't even want to answer that, man, that's the revealing part. Like kind of what Dame was showing. It's just like, dude, you could have easily squandered that. Like, nah, you know what? You're right. You know what? I did fuck up and I am going to change. And I feel bad about that because that was never my intent to like embarrass my husband. But it just shows like the level of like I said, man, I keep referring to ego that she's just like, nah, I'm going to convince y'all. Like, fuck that. It's kind of, what's that thing like Trump said, like, never admit failure or something like that? That's kind of what she remind me of. Like, I ain't going to admit any of my failures. I'm gonna double down on these dumb excuses and shit.
Yeah, but they're not even that good. Like you said, they're
terrible.
Don't make sense.
Yeah.
They don't make sense. They like just logically, if you have a brain and you think chronologically, and the funny thing is, I love the fact that he's not letting her get away with these nonsensical like answers that don't align with what we can see. And you know, I was like, these don't make sense. And this dude is doing a fantastic job as an interviewer.
Man, I told you, man, that dude need to get a Pulitzer Prize, man. Damn that. Because Micca thought that was a safe space. Micca was like, you know what? I'm going to come over here. I'm going to control Orlando. He going to throw me some softball questions. He going to help me get out of this bullshit. Orlando was like, fuck that. He was like, I'm turning up. I told him, Dame, I was like, man, he done went to Men's Warehouse, got him a new tie. Orlando was like, got him a shape up.
He went to
He's
the
like,
swap and got that fake Gucci, the Christian Dior tie. Keep doing it.
yeah, Orlando was cooking, boy. He was like, we might have to do a review on the Tasha K one, man. IP3, we might, whenever you got some time, do them all in order. It seemed like she making her rounds and stuff. I heard they got an Anton up there. Hey, what's up, Mr. Best, man? I wanted to hear your take on all this, man. I know you always do a drive-by gym. He'll come in here, drop some gems, and my man haul ass.
OG, I'm clear, OG.
Yeah, you good, man. Do your thing.
Okay,
Go ahead, drop
I was
that
trying to
ball,
use my I was trying to use my tablet, y'all. But I updated the tablet and all that. I wasn't coming in. You know what I mean?
But we can hear you well though.
Okay.
And thank you for the tag, Lighthouse.
In an archive video. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks.
we got you. Feel free to come through if you want, Smitty. You know what I mean? I don't know if the link is in the chat still, but if you want to come through, give your expertise, come through, brother.
Yeah, because we're gonna get ready to wrap it up soon anyway, though. But
okay, but wrap. Okay. Oh man, why you gotta be doing this? Look, man. Look, when you in it too so. Okay. I don't think you could add my channel, bro. But okay. But you could definitely add K&R. But I think my channel, I don't think you could add the intellectual soapbox joint. But yeah. With that being said, man. You know, when you're dealing with things on the internet, you know, you just gotta always be mindful, man. And you know what I mean? A lot of times I think people expect too much people expect too much from people on the internet. I will say that. We've had this discussion before, right? We've talked about it before. And I think we understand that the internet is the internet and people have a persona. And if you feed too much into it, you will be disappointed. You absolutely will be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I think in this situation, I feel like people treat Homeboy, I'm not even going to say his name, but people treat Homeboy and even the homegirl like they politicians or they socialists or whatever. Like, this is not Trump. This is not his wife, right? This is not none of them people that's really going to, like, impact your life. You know what I mean? This ain't Gavin Newsom. This ain't none of that. We not dealing with none of that. Like, you know what I mean? This ain't the Black Panther Party. Like, we're not dealing with none of the things that's really going. This ain't ICE. It ain't none of that going on, right? So those are the things you should probably be thinking about. You know what I mean? Global warming and all that, right? So, but this dude and whatever mixes he got, whoever he got it, is however he got it. You know what I mean? So, and if Shorty husband is not really making a complaint about it, then it is what it is. Because he probably just in the cut collecting the bread. You know what I mean? And that's what you gotta understand. A lot of people on YouTube, on internet, a lot of things y'all be complaining about, all they doing is sitting back collecting money. You know what I mean? They just sitting back collecting the bread. They let y'all talk about them and complain and whine and whatever else and get mad. But they just sitting back collecting the check. You know that, OG. You know that.
No,
so they don't care if you complain. They don't care if you get mad. They don't care if you put them in a scandal. Because all they care about is their money and their views. Right? And a lot of them too, right? They'll say certain things, but you got to understand too, a lot of them, they live in all types of squalor. And you never know who they living with. A lot of them, I'm not even gonna get into it. But yeah, I don't want to get into it because there's a lot of things I know, but I'm gonna just keep it cool, man. Because you know, I want y'all to live, man. I'm not about exposing nobody. I want everybody to live their life and everybody to chill, man. You know what I mean? Like really, that's it. So I'm not, you know, me and them three, we know a lot of stuff. I know you know a lot of stuff. Dame, I already know you, but I'm pretty sure you may know some stuff too. But at the end of the day, man, like, yeah, a lot of them are frauds. Like they used to call A-Rod a fraud. A lot of them are frauds. And I'll leave it at that.
Nah,
You
that's
know,
a fact.
yeah, and I think that's how we're gonna end like for tonight's live stream, man, with some some facts and some humility for a minute. Just for now, that is. I will say this though. Right now, like, my schedule is kind of like changing a little bit. Um, I'm trying to land on a new gig or whatever. So your boy might have to like get 2 jobs or whatever. But I'm not gonna put it out there yet because it's not like finalized. But um, yeah, but we're gonna definitely see, man, for sure. When we cover up on the next topic, in regards to what was the topic you wanted to try to cover, Jerk?
Oh, we got a couple, man. We'll touch base, man. But nah, handle your business first, man. Like I told you, I was like, man, whenever you got your stuff or you got a different schedule, man, we're gonna rock with you. No issue.
I mean, FYI, like, I wasn't even planning to do like a live stream tonight, but like when you hit me up, Jerk, I was like, all right, man, like, I gotta do it one time for the one time for Big Jerk, especially with after watching like this situation with Micca in that interview. So it was already fresh in my mind to even want to talk about that.
Yeah, I just think because I do agree with Mr. Best, man, honestly. But I the only reason I wanted to touch this is because, man, I do think, man, when you do get married, man, you don't embarrass your spouse, man. Like, I get people sign up, but it's even then, it's just like, say my wife was like on some open end shit, she didn't care. I'm still not gonna try to embarrass people, man. So I just think people need to be more cautious, maneuver different, and man, don't put your kingdom that you build at risk. You know what I'm saying? So I do think there's some takeaways from some of this stuff. So that's why I try to like to focus on. But nah, everybody was dropping some gems, man. I always like tagging up with all y'all anyway. So it was good to see Mr. Best again and Dame too, man. So
yeah,
I like these type
real
of
quick. If y'all want to see her husband, I got it for you. If y'all, if you want to do it later, we can do it another day. I got it.
we're gonna do another one because I want to do the Tasha K one, man. We definitely gotta tag up. I'm gonna hit you up, Dame.
All right, sounds good, y'all.
Yeah, just hold on to that, like, Dame, or like take some screenshots just in case if it gets taken down.
Cool.
But I will say this though, right? I think tonight was very educational, of what not to do in your marriage and things that you want to be cautious of. Again, I'm not a married guy anymore, so whatever. But when you're in a relationship with another person, there's just some things like you just don't want to you don't want to set yourself up like with. And I realized that to me, like in my years, man, of dealing like with women or whatever, if you ain't my woman, I'm not gonna put myself out there where I cause scrutiny, around myself and, cause like emotional stress, with my female because of what other people's perspectives are, So you just gotta like just move accordingly, man, and be professional in everything that you do. So that's all I want to say.
All right. Drop that in the private chat, Dame.
All right, y'all, man. It was definitely a pleasure, man. Like doing this live stream. Dame, Mr. Best, thank you for coming up. Jerk, man, thank you for just just presenting the live stream, man, with that title and talking about.
No doubt, man. We gonna get you popping again, man. Just let
all
me know
good,
when
brother.
you're ready to start it back up, man. I got you.
Yeah. Most definitely for sure. And I'll have my channel open and Best and everything else like to open up when it comes to guys that's doing like the live stream. So that way, we could share or whatever. So I just gotta make sure to keep in mind to change like the title and all that. So
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, Best man.
I don't know if M3 is leaving after the live, but if M3 leaving, OG sit back. I'm gonna holler at you about some game.
Okay then. All right.
Okay, yeah. That'll bounce out for sure. All right, guys, man. All right, take care.
knowledge in relationships,